It is a special honor for me to participate in today's event and to participate here at Government House. And as Mrs. O'Flaherty spoke about history, and His Excellency did likewise, I thought no better place we could have been but at this Government House, so rich as it is in our own history and development and our quality of life, and how, in a manner of speaking, this represents history in many respects. The history in which for a long time we had been alienated. The history which we have since that period, post-colonial times, created for ourselves as a people, and the history that is evolving. And every day there is an opportunity for us as people, as nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis, to create a history of which we can all be proud. And so I especially welcome the students, the leaders of today and tomorrow, who must always alert their minds and their hearts to how they will ennoble St. Kitts and Nevis, so that the history that they will bequeath is one which will make the generations after them extremely proud. The launch of this website, historicstkitts.kn, represents a significant achievement and milestone for the St. Kitts and Nevis National Archives, which is the Federation's repository of government and private records. Today, I want to speak for just a little bit on the subject of the archive's role in heritage development. This, of course, was touched on by Mrs. O'Flaherty before me. In a manner of speaking, the National Archives stores the consciousness of our nation and people. In one way of looking at it, it is, in essence, our memory bank. The prestigious institution preserves our forebears' thoughts, feelings, and experiences, while highlighting the conditions of their personal and collective existence and surroundings. Our forebears' surroundings are now our surroundings, such as these iconic grounds which surround us, where almost 100 years ago, in the 1920s, it is recorded that there were about 250 local people from the islands of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla who ever were invited to Government House. That is a long history, of which local people were outside the periphery of the local invitees' guest list. 250 recorded by Sir Reginald St. Johnston's memoir titled From a Colonial Governor's Notebook. So we have come a long way then to not being a part, where today our head of state, and for a very long time, the head of states of the country of St. Kitts and Nevis are local, and this home is open to all of us. That then is an evolution of the history, from exclusion to inclusion, and how we develop upon that, how we understand the message of that, where once upon a time long ago, the gentleman who was then Tapley Seaton would have had a difficult time in entering into these grounds. Fast track to now, the head of the state And the boss of this historic building and grounds is Sir S.W. Tapley Seton, with many credentials. That is history being made. That tells us, in particular young people, that we must never give up on hope. That if we live our lives well, if we prepare ourselves well, there is no journey which we can't make. And we must never satisfy with mediocrity. We must always aim for excellence and to do the very best that we can. Sir Tapley's distinguished life has prepared him well now to function, and history would record that he was perhaps one of the best prepared of our sons and daughters of the soil to serve in this particular historic place which we dub Government House. So we move from way back then, where across the Trinity of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla, 250 local people had a chance to come here. To in recent times, as a result of Sir Tapley's deep immersion in history, in heritage, his deep connection to the ordinary people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and his deep belief in our ennoblement, he has opened this house and these iconic historical grounds to thousands of persons from all walks of life. Let's give His Excellency a round of applause. From independence celebrations and New Year's festivities and investitures that are coming so quick and often now, and the investitures which are taking place is another reflection of how we are creating our own history. How we are once again saluting the excellence of those persons that have helped build the modern St. Kitts and Nevis. His Excellency has opened to the young, to the elderly, to visitors, and of course, to all and sundry. And we are happy that he has opened up these historic and hallowed historical grounds to the people and our visitors. When you enter the doors of the National Archives at government headquarters, and I now want to say that the finding and building of a modern National Archives is one which is high on the government's agenda. And we hope very shortly we will be able to start on this. It is a commitment from which we have had the highest support and urging from His Excellency that we should start soon. We have had some discussions regarding a variety of sites. Many of those discussions have been held with you, and His Excellency has also given his input. So very soon we shall be able to make progress. I was making the point, by entering the National Archives, we get a glimpse, if you will, into the soul of the nations. We get a glimpse into the tapestry of events, transactions that have come to define us, who we are, what it was then, how is it happening now, and we can make, as it were, our own deductions. You gain an access to our rich history and identity, which of course, that history and identity have been shaped by our struggles and equally by our triumphs and successes. Indeed, the sting of the poverty has made the people of St. Kitts and Nevis a resilient people ever reaching for greatness. The captivating stories documented in the trove of records stored in our national archives are testament to the fact that rather than being a life sentence, adversity and the way we respond to it can be a conduit to greater things. The book to which His Excellency made reference, that hopefully will be launched on our own independence, will of course document the life story of several people, and we can learn from their own circumstances and how, notwithstanding their history and historical development, others were able to impact upon the governance agenda of our country. Our patrimony, this is indeed our patrimony. And today we rise like the phoenix from the ashes and from the often thwarted aspirations of our predecessors, starting anew with a world of possibilities before us. It is amazing to consider that our forebears attained universal adult suffrage in 1952. 31 years prior to 1983, and now 35 years after independence, our great nation and resilient people are free to exercise our own franchise and self-determination. And talking about franchise, the people of Barbados yesterday went to the polls, and they did exercise their franchise. I want to congratulate and to celebrate the victory of a friend, the Honorable Mayor Mottley, who has now made history as being Barbados' first female Prime Minister. Could we give her a round of applause? Our National Archives plays a critical role in determining our future by safeguarding our national and collective consciousness, our volition, as well as our power of agency and perseverance. This is because the National Archives and its stewards protect the nation's historical record. After all, it was Marcus Garvey who said, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." I just want to repeat that for the benefit of our students. A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. The tree without roots certainly won't stand. So we have to get up to speed with our own history. Today's launch of the beautiful and impressively thorough website, historicstkitts.kn, furthers our journey of national pride and expands the scope, the reach, impact, and importance of our national records. Importantly, this digital technology brings our national records into quick and easy contact with our school children and teachers, our tourists and prospective visitors, as well as people all around the world who want to trace their ancestry or research the history of our country. And so I commend those who have created it for the fine job they have done. I want to end on a note of commendation and to thank the government of Germany for the consistency of their support to the agenda of our national archives and our national heritage. Let's again give His Excellency, the Ambassador, a round of applause as we say thank you for their contribution. I equally must commend the Director of the National Archives, Mrs. Victoria O'Flaherty, and her staff for reaching this milestone. And my commendations also go to Genesis Creatives. I gather this is the local web developer that created the site. Let's salute local talent. So, final word is that this is a good start for us in St. Kitts and Nevis in taking note of our history, of recording the elements of our national heritage. It is a task that cannot be left alone to those in our national archives. There is something each of us can do to preserve records, family records, our school records, our community records, that would make the work of the National Archives so much easier, and our people better off for having preserved their history, so that those of the generation now and to come after them would be better prepared to serve and to build a better St. Kitts and Nevis. May God bless us all. I thank you.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.